everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to start on my review of my second Arcade1up unit, and just came in yesterday. I pulled it out of the box here to show it off, and it is the Atari Pong Pub Table. Now I was really excited to get this unit because I love the idea of the table. I love the idea of the four players being able to sit at it and play some of the different games on it. And it actually turned out to be a really great deal. Now, normally this table sells for $600, but Arcade1up has recently had it on sale. They marked it down 150, so it's 450. And then a whole bunch of retailers followed suit and also marked it down the same price. So I actually wound up purchasing mine from Kohl's because along with it being the 450 price, I had like $15 worth of cold cash from actually from the first arcade unit I bought, the Atari Legacy machine. So I put that towards this, knocked it down a little bit more, basically just kind of saved the a little of the tax on it and whatever. But still, it was a good price. They had free shipping. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. It just came in. I wanted to do a quick unboxing, show you what's in it. I don't think I'm going to do a video of me putting it together. I think I'll just do the unboxing, show you what's in it, and then we can kind of, I'll put it together, and then I'll come back and I'll review the unit as a whole once it's all together. All right, so let me open it up, and we'll see what's inside this sucker, huh? I will say that they do a pretty good job of taping it up, that's for sure. Seems like it's pretty secure in here. Yep, definitely secure. It's not going to let go, hang on. Well, that's something. You can see that they actually kind of glued it down, so no wonder it was so secure. Oh look, that little packing stuff that keeps it all minty fresh. And yeah, I will say that this feels really secure in here. So they definitely did a good job of keeping all the parts hopefully intact during shipping. Okay, these must be side panels, and I gotta say, they are hefty. They are you probably can't even see my head. They are definitely hefty. Ugh. All right, so that's all the boxes inside. That's all the little boxes inside the big boxes. Okay, I'm going to open up each piece, and we're going to see what's in here, and we're going to hope that everything is intact and all the parts are here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this has got to be, I think this is all the side panels. This part right here seems really solid. And if I look inside, I think inside here are the other two sides of the panels for the stand. And I know they're probably more like the press board type that are the kick plates that you see on the bigger stand-up units. But at least two sides are nice and solid. I'm not going to open that whole thing. I'm not going to open this whole thing up. I'll do that when I put it together. You'll see what it all looks like when it's done. Let's see what this one is first. Okay. Okay, this looks like it's all, yep, this looks like all of the pieces that go inside to just kind of hold everything together. They all seem pretty sturdy. Everything is really, wow, everything is really packed together well, so I'm not worried about anything being broken or scratched up or anything. Not that scratched up matters, because these are all going to be inside the unit. You'll never see them, but they definitely seem to be solid. I'm thinking maybe this is the screen. Yeah, I'm thinking this is the screen. I'm going to try to be real careful here. Yep. Oh, look, we got more minty freshness. Yep. Okay, so this is the screen and the instructions. Oh, and that. I am still looking forward to this part. You can see this right here. This is a little rubber seal. This is going to go in the table, which is, I'm guessing, what this is going to wind up being. This is going to go in the table, in the hole where the screen goes, to just kind of create a seal, so if you spill or whatever, it doesn't get down in underneath. And everybody I've seen who's talked about putting this table together talks about what a pain in the beep this is to get in there. So we'll see. I'll let you know when I'm done. And of course, here's the screen, which looks all good. I don't see any issues with it. It was, again, like everything else, packed in there super good. So yeah, I'm not anticipating any problem with that. And then the final box. Oh yeah. I almost don't even want to take this out. I kind of want to take this where I'm going to put it. You know what? I can do some of this. So you got the wiring, got the power supply. And then in here, yep. You know, I am not going to open this, only because I'm not putting it together here. I'm putting it together in another room, and I think it's going to be easier to take it down in the box like this. But this is the tabletop. And if you're wondering, that round piece is in two pieces. So it's two halves that will go together when you put the unit together. So just, in case anybody was wondering, yep, it is two pieces, and then the halves go together and they go on top of the stand. All right, so that is everything that this comes with. Packed together solid, really solid. I don't have any complaints. Everything looks good. I mean, a cursory look at the tabletop looks fine. I'm not seeing any. Here, kind of show it off a little bit. You can kind of see in there maybe a little bit, but yeah, it all looks good. So I'm gonna get to putting this together, and then at another point I will show what the final table looks like. I'll show off the games on it, how it all plays, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I will see you in a bit once the table's together.
1 week later.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So it has been about a week now since I've put this together, and I wanted to wait a little bit because I wanted to spend some time playing with it, checking it out, and just make sure I give you guys the most thorough review that I can. But let's start off by talking about the build. Now, like I said in the unboxing, these side panels here feel really nice, thick, and heavy. I don't have any problem at all with the build of the table stand. You know, you've got this side panel here, which, yes, this is the typical thin panels like you get on the front kicks for the cabinets themselves. It lists all the games that are on the cabinet on one side. And then if you go over to the other side, again, you get the same thing. You get the list of games, and you get the Arcade1up sticker, which, again, you know, it is what it is. You know, they have to put this on the table somewhere. Would I have preferred it to be like maybe underneath the table itself? Yeah, but you know, maybe there's something legal where it has to be visible at least someplace, and it can't be hidden underneath something. So it is what it is. You know, when you're standing or sitting at the thing playing, you're not staring at that. So I don't really have a big problem with that. The top of the table itself, here's a good look at it. You know, when you're standing at it, when you're playing, it does look very nice. I am going to echo the sentiment of a lot of other people. I really, really, really wish they had put some kind of deck protector on here. Because I can, you know, it feels nice, but I can feel the lettering. I can feel the sticker, or, you know, however the vinyl, you know, however they have this on here. And I know this is going to chip and rub off. This already teeny tiny little chip right there. Not the end of the world. Even when I was putting this together, you can kind of sort of see the imperfection. Yeah, you can see it, definitely. The imperfection right there. Not deal breakers. Nothing that makes me want to, you know, chuck this table in the garbage. But just something to really be aware of. You know, you're not going to want to set drinks in this thing. You're not. You know, and you're going to want to be careful when you're playing it. I don't know. Like I said, the stand itself feels solid. It doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere. But this thing, I don't know. It feels a little cheap. I don't know what else to say. And another thing. This right here, the protector for the screen, it's great that they have that, but boy, did I have a time getting this thing in. Yes, first off, there is a rubber seal that you have to put all the way around. You can't see, it's underneath this. And I started putting it on this side of the table. You can see, you know, you can see the line here that the table comes in two pieces. And if I can get underneath, and then you have this here that you put that holds the two pieces together. Okay? Back to this. So yeah, like I was saying, put that rubber seal on. And I started on this side of the table, and it went in so easily. I was like, oh man, people are complaining, and this is going easy. I don't know why everybody's having such a hard time. Then I got to this little bump here, and I got to this side of the table, and oh my God, it must have taken me a half hour to get it in and I had to take a flathead screwdriver and kind of push it in as I went, and just what a sludge until I got it back to this side, and then all was good again. So I don't know if just it was the way the table was lined up, or if the grooves on this side were just a little deeper than the ones on this side. You know, not really sure, but it kind of goes a little bit to talk about the build quality, you know. And on top of that, you know, the monitor is sunk in, and then there's a depression that you put the monitor protector in. For the life of me, I could not get it to fit in there well at all. I actually wound up taking a flathead screwdriver and taking the flathead and rubbing against the inside of the table here, basically shaving away a little bit of the table until I could get it to fit in over here. And if you can I don't know if this will come across in the video, you can kind of see that this is bumped up a little bit. I still could not get this side completely flat in. It's slightly raised here. So what I'm going to wind up doing is taking this off and doing the same thing on this side and shaving it down a little bit until I can get this thing to fit flat. Now, this is sitting in my living room right now because I wanted to have it up and try it out and make sure everything was good with it. But ultimately, it's going to go up in the game room that I'm putting together. That's a couple of months away. So what's going to wind up happening is I'm going to wind up taking this apart, not fully. I'm going to take the top off the base and bring it up in two pieces, because this is about 33 inches in diameter, and it's not going to fit through the doors to get it to my upstairs where the game room is going to be. So I'm going to wind up taking it up in two pieces. And when I do that, you know, these 4 screws have to come off. And these 8 screws, 4 on this side, 4 on that side. And then these 4 here also have to come off, because all of those hook in to the base. Okay, so since I have to remove this anyway, I'll pop up the monitor, I'll shave it down a little bit, and I'll play around until I can get it to fit perfectly. But just something to be aware of, and something that I wish I didn't have to do on this. Again, are these deal breakers? Am I returning this? No, I like the table. I like it. But it's just things to be aware of, all right? Another thing I'm going to say is that it's actually a lot taller than I thought it was going to be. And maybe that's just me, okay? Maybe I had this weird impression that it was more of a sit-down table than a stand-up table. This is a stand-up table. This, from the bottom up to the top of the table here, is about 40 inches. All right. So you are standing at this thing, or you're getting, some decent sized stools to sit at. I have a stool here just for reference. Now I will tell you, I'll show you in a minute, but this stool is about 24 inches. I'm 5'8". Okay. So I'm not super tall. When I'm sitting at that stool at this table, I feel like I'm like almost, eye height with the table. I feel like I'm like looking like straight at it instead of up above it. All right. So if you're taller, if you're a 6-foot guy, you could probably get away with a stool about that size and feel like you're sitting up at the table. But if you're like my height or smaller, my wife and my daughter are both a few inches smaller than me. If I wanted to sit at this table, I'm buying bigger stools. I'm buying 28, 29-inch stools probably to sit at this table. Now, is it more likely that we're going to be standing to play at this? Yeah. I'm probably not going to go crazy with stools. But again, just something I wanted to throw out there for people to be aware of if they're considering this. So let's take a look at that, and then let's take a look at some gameplay. All right? All right, so here I am sitting at the table. And like I mentioned, the table is 40 inches tall. This stool is 24 inches tall. So I can sit here and I can play this just fine. But I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of looking forward at the screen instead of down at the screen. So if you're one of these guys that's, 6 foot, bigger guy, and you're sitting at the table with a stool about this height, you're going to be sitting up more, you're going to be looking down more, you're probably going to be a lot more comfortable. If you're my height or shorter, or if you got little kids, you're probably going to want taller stools. Like I said, I know the ones that Arcade1up sells are adjustable, and they go anywhere from 21 inches up to about 28, 29. If you were to get those stools, you'd probably want to set them at the higher setting for this table for smaller people. Or you're going to want to buy stools that are a little bit taller. Right? Just wanted to throw that out there as part of this review so you guys know what you're getting into. Now let's take a little bit and let's look at the games that come on the table, the settings for them, and a little bit of gameplay. Okay, so here are the games that come on the table you have. And most of them are variations on Pong. Obviously, it's a Pong table. So you've got Pong. You've got Quadro Pong. You've got Pong Sports, Super Breakout, Tempest, Circus Atari, Warlords, and Pong Doubles. And you move around with the spinner, which, by the way, the spinner does actually feel really nice. Again, weird build thing with my table. This spinner, you can't hear it anymore, but when I first put it together, I could feel it kind of scraping against the table. Again, I took a flathead screwdriver and I put it underneath and I spun, I kind of went around like this and I shaved down whatever must have been underneath there. And now it spins pretty freely and I'm not hearing any scraping. But just, I don't know, I had some weird build issues with my table. Just saying. So, like a lot of the Arcade1up cabinets, you've got your on-off switch, you've got your volume, which goes up to 15. I'll keep it at about, I think if I keep it at about 10, you guys can hear that all right without it being overpowering. You got player 1 button. Over here, you got player 2. You get a two button setup on the player 1 and player 2 side, and then you've got a 1 button setup on the, I want to say this is player 3 and this is player 4 typically. All right, so that's how this is set up. And with each game, again, like on a lot of the Arcade1up cabinets, you get settings for each game. If you press the second button, that's where you get to the settings. And a lot of them have very similar settings. So like for Pong, like they all have sensitivity settings for the spinner, which is really nice that you can change the sensitivity to make it more or less responsive. And I believe most of them come at 7. That seems to be a good setting. So I don't really have a problem with that. Pong, you got points to win, you got the difficulty, whether or not there's a gap at the corners. You can turn scan lines on and off, which again are a nice feature. It's weird on the Pong games. I like it off, but I think for Breakout and maybe Warlords I put it on, and it just, I don't know, it gives it a more authentic feel. And then save and exit. So Quadro Pong has sensitivity, cabinet style, original black and white, elimination color, scan lines on and off, and exit. Pong Sports, which I believe is an old Atari 2600 game that they put on here. Again, you can set the sensitivity, split screen on and off. I haven't tried that yet for some of these games. And then the scan lines. Some of these things I definitely need to check out a little bit more. Super Breakout. You have sensitivity, number of balls, the language, scan lines, and if you want to reset the high scores. Which if I did that right now, my daughter would kill me because she's been obsessed with this game and getting high scores on it. It doesn't save like your initials on the high scores, but as you go through each of the different game types in it, you can see what the last high score was. Tempest. Again, the sensitivity, and I actually turned the sensitivity down a little bit on this one. I think it helps a little just for me. Starting lives, bonus, difficulty, advanced start, how far into the game you can start off. I guess there's a cheat mode and turn off and on. The language, vector glow, which is nice. You've got the standard, you got none, you got sparkle, bright, bold, and again back to standard. So there's some different options for how you like the game to look when you're playing, which was something that I mentioned on my Atari Legacy cabinet that I wish it had. That I wish it had the same settings that this one has. I don't know why they're different. Maybe because different emulators. Not sure. And actually, I'm going to get into that because the Tempest is a little weird on this. Circus Atari is another old Atari 2600 game, but a lot of fun. Not a lot of options to this one, just the sensitivity and whether or not you want scan lines on and off. Warlords, which is probably one of my favorites on this table. A lot of fun to play. Sensitivity. You got the cabinet style, cocktail, or upright. I'm leaving it at cocktail. When the music plays, language, scan lines, and if you want to reset your high scores. And finally, Pong Doubles. Sensitivity, points to win, difficulty, gap at corners, and scan lines. So that's it for all the settings. Let's take a look at a little bit of gameplay of each. And you press the right button to start. And here you have it's a two-player game. And it's just the spinner, really, when you're playing. Oops, sorry. Press player 1 to start the game. And go. And yeah, yeah, it's Pong. It is so hard to play and talk at the same time sometimes. But yeah, you get the idea. I will say that the spinner is pretty responsive. Again, I may actually have to change the settings on this because I feel like it's moves a little too quickly. But again, you get the idea. And just like a lot of the other Arcade1up cabinets, when you're done playing, you hold down the player 1 button for 5 seconds and back to the main screen. It's Quadra-Pong, which can be played with, I believe, 1 player, 2 players, or 4 players. I was really hoping you could play 3 players. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's just 2 players and 4 players. I don't think you can play single player. I was really hoping you could play 1 player or 3 player, and the computer would just take up the slack on the others because we're 3 people in the house right now. But it is what it is, and it is still it's still kind of a fun game to play even with 2 people. But I would be better. This is definitely a better game with 4 players. But I do wish that they allowed for some computer control of the other players. Pong Sports, which is multiplayer. And it's really just a whole bunch of different game variations on Pong. I know you can't, you're probably looking at it upside down on the screen. So sorry about that. It's just the way that this is oriented. But you've got, you've got Pong, you've got Super Pong, you've got soccer, foos Pong, hockey, Quadra-Pong, handball, volleyball, basketball, and it ranges anywhere from 1 player game, like the Pong game can be a one-player game. And then all the others, you have 2 players or 4 players. So really, this is, nicely designed to be a 4-player table, for sure. So if you've got 4 people that you can play with, it just makes the games that much better. I'm not going to get into any of them. You get the idea. Super Breakout, which is 1 or 2 players. And if you play 2 players, the screen flips to the other player as you go back and forth, which is really nice. What's nice about this is there are multiple versions. So you have here where you break the bricks, and as you get up in here, it releases these balls. You've got this one where you've got 2 paddles and 2 balls come down to start. You've got this one here with the gap in the middle, and as rows go away, it comes down at you. And I believe that is all the variations. So I'll just play this version for a minute. You hit the button to release the ball. And as you move on, as it gets closer to the top, when you hit those red bricks, the ball moves faster. Makes it more challenging. So yeah, again, you get the idea. It's Breakout. And it's a lot of fun and very addictive, as my daughter could tell you. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Tempest, probably my least favorite game on this table. I like playing it so much more on my Atari Legacy. There's just something weird about it. It just feels off. I don't know why. I mean, again, maybe I need to play around with the sensitivity or the brightness, but it just... Yeah, I don't know if these are just... I'll just start at the beginning. But it just, I don't know, it feels slow compared to... Down a little bit. It feels slow compared to the stand-up Legacy cabinet. It just feels like it plays slower. Although I do like that it has some of the brightness settings. Although, again, maybe it's just me. I feel like when I turn up the brightness of the vectors, it actually slows the game down. I don't know, maybe that has something to do with the way it's emulated. But I don't know, it just feels weird. I can't really explain it. It just feels weird. Like this, even the screens coming up at you just feel slower. But it's Tempest, and I do like Tempest. I just prefer playing it on the other cabinet for some reason. Circus Atari is another one that you play from the side here. So if you're playing 2 players, player 1 is going to be here, player 2 is going to be there as it flips back and forth. And you use this spinner here to pick the different versions. This one, you've actually got 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player. You actually have, I think, no, I'm sorry, it's just 1 player. There's 8 different versions of it. I was reading that wrong. But it's anywhere from 1 player to 2 players. Ah. So hard. But again, it's like, you get the idea. Warlords, which is probably my favorite game on this. This one you can actually play with 3 players. So just as you're playing, each player just hits the button to join in on the game. It is so frantic, but a lot of fun. Ah. Try to get each of these guys out of here. Can usually get the 2 on either side of me, but that one diagonal is such a pain to get, and usually winds up getting me first. And he's out. And now we got 2 balls released. And he's out. So now we're up to 3. And this is where it's going to come down to me or him. And I think I'm about to bite it. It's going to take one more lucky shot. Yeah. I'm in trouble. Unless I get lucky here, I'm in trouble. So freaking close. Come on. Oh, they just added a 4th one. I can't believe I did it. I actually beat him. And then it goes on to another level. All right, but again, you get the idea. So much fun. Definitely my favorite game on this table. And then Pong Doubles is another 2 or 4 player game. And if you play 2 players, you control both paddles. If you play 4 players, each player controls a different paddle. You play it in teams. So really hard to play with just one player to show you. But again, it's a variation on Pong, so you get the idea. All right, so that is my review of the Pong Pub Table, and overall, I do like it. The games are a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play. The build quality, I got to admit, could be a little bit better. I really do wish they had not reneged on putting a protector on top of the table. It's definitely going to see some wear and tear as time goes on. That's for sure. The build quality, as I showed you, trying to get certain things to fit in was a little wonky. And, the spinner, I had a problem with one of the spinners. But overall, I'm okay with the table. Pluses and minuses for sure. But, it's only the second one that I have. I have the Atari Legacy 12-in-1, the one that's made to look like Tempest, which I love. I have this table, which is a lot of fun. Putting together a game room, so I will at some point get more. So this is probably going to be my last review of an Arcade1up for at least a couple of months, because I have to focus on putting the game room together before I can get more. I had a hard enough time with my wife putting this here, so if I got another machine and put it somewhere else in our living space, I'd have to live upstairs in the game room while it's being renovated, and I don't want that right now. So once that's done, and once I move the Tempest machine and this up there, then I can look into getting something else. I'm hoping by then that some of the new legacy Arcade1ups will be available. I'm very interested in the Midway legacy, the Mortal Kombat, and possibly the Namco one, the Pac-Man one. Although I have to admit, I'm more interested in getting the Miss Pac-Man Galaga Class of '81 that's available, which, by the way, as I'm shooting this, is on sale right now for $500. So if you're in the market for that one, check it out. I just can't do it right now. I have to wait. So I got to hope that it comes down again in price when I'm ready to get my new one. So that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you enjoyed the channel. Please, if you're checking me out for the first time, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and that'll just inspire me and incentivize me to keep doing these and do more, and hopefully grow the channel. So I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.